Good afternoon, students. In fact, we people are very well versed with the computer which we are using. But how it has taken its present shape, what journey it has taken, how many phases it has crossed to reach to its present situation is always a matter of interest, a matter of discussion to all of us. So today we will be discussing the earlier background or historical background of computer along with its generation. See, the very first computer was we people, human being. In fact, in earlier days, it was a group of people who generally considered as the group of persons involved in computation task. So these people were known as computer. From that only, the name of computer has been taken. Their purpose was to perform repeated calculations again and again. See, just think for a while, if you have been given a task for hours and days, that is nothing to do, but you have to do multiplications only. What will you do? You definitely feel boredom. You will not be taking interest, and your carelessness will lead to problem. So what is the best way out is? Scientists were doing continuously efforts in the direction to devise, to make a specific tool so that they can use for the purpose of calculations again and again. You must learn that in earlier days we people generally use our fingers, sand, pebbles for the purpose of counting. Even nowadays we also use our fingers for the purpose of counting. So in earlier days it was the sand table which was used for the purpose of computation task. Here you people can easily view that 3 grooves were here, in which maximum capacity of a groove is of 9 stone only. When it comes to 10, it is shifted to the next groove, and their position exhibits whether its value is 1 or it is 10 or 100. If it is in first group, it will be 1. If it is shifted to next group, its value will be changed as 10, and if it is shifted to third group, then it will be representing 100. This sand table could be converted, and the new device has taken the shape with the name abacus. Abacus, though its earlier development is considered to be in China, but it is the development of Babylonians. And here you can see that there are 2 parts of every abacus, lower part and upper part. In upper part there are 2 bits only, and in lower part there are 5 bits. How we can do computations? We can compute the data by putting our bits, either it is to be lowered or it is to be raised. So different values has been assigned to it for lower as well as raised. It was the earliest manual computation device. Afterward, it was John Napier who in 1914 developed a machine or a tool with the name Napier bones. In fact, these were ivory bone, 9 in numbers, where multiplication table was engraved. Not only this, Napier bones, this tool has led to the development of algorithms. So idea of algorithm calculation has been taken from this Napier bones only, and with this Napier bone, multiplication can be done with the help of addition. You can see Napier bone here. The magical part was that initially we used printed tables, but with this the entire multiplication table is engraved on these bones. And Edmund Guntur and William Outred developed the slide rule. They have also using it for the purpose of knowing logarithm. How? 2 slide rules were there. They were flexible enough, they were designed in such a manner that some spaces in between, so that one slide can easily be rotated from over the other. It was based on the principle that actual distances from the starting point of the rule is directly proportional to the logarithm of the number which is printed on the rule. And the first ever gear driven calculating machine was developed by William Shepard in 1623, which could perform addition, subtraction, and if there is overflow in the data, intimation can be given to the user by ringing a bell. Obviously, this device couldn't be popular because the person who developed it had met an untimely death, but it was the first ever gear driven calculating device. Taking the idea from this device, it was Blaise Pascal who in 1642 developed a machine which is known as adding machine or Pascaline machine. It was the first functional automatic calculator with the help of arrangement of wheels, gears, and there is some window given for the purpose of displaying the data onto it. You people have realized that nowadays in car we are having a digital clock on the dashboard, but initially for the purpose of calculating speed we use a speedometer, and the idea was same of this gear driven machine. Here you can see 8-digit Pascaline machine and 6-digit Pascaline machines both, where 6 gears and 8 gears respectively are given. When Pascal developed its calculating machine, or you may call it the calculator, it was Leibniz who developed a calculator which is popularly known, which is mass produced for multiplying two numbers. Not only this, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all 4 operations can be performed on this device. Moreover, binary number came into existence from this only because he is the first person who advocated the use of binary numbers. You people are using binary numbers in modern computers for adding, for subtracting, or for performing any operation. And in 1801, it was Frenchman Joseph Marie Jacquard who used the principle of woven clothes to present binary numbers either 0 or 1. If there is hole, or if the thread is down, that it's showing absence of bit. If the thread is up, it is showing the presence of bit. So binary number can be represented with the help of Jacquard punch card machine. He has taken the idea of power loom, where automatic card reader is used to get the data which is written on the punch card. So presence and absence of hole represents 2 digits of binary 0 and 1. You can have a close look of this card. It is a board card on which some holes are engraved. Presence or absence of hole can be treated as absence and presence of data. And the person who is considered as the father of modern computer is Charles Babbage, who in 1822 developed a stream driven calculating machine with the name differential engine. The size of this machine was the entire room long. In fact, it was a project who was financed by government, but this machine couldn't be completed and cost was that much that government stopped funding to this project and it left in between. So it was never completed. Though the idea was that this machine could be able to compute table of numbers such as logarithm tables. After the development of differential engine, which was unsuccessful project obviously, Charles Babbage decided to develop a new machine, to build a new machine with the name analytical engine. This analytical engine can be considered as the founding stone for today's general purpose programmable machine. This device, again, it was large enough as a house and powered by 6 steam engines. The basic or the interesting characteristic of this machine was that it was programmable in association with the punch card technology of Jacquard, which we have discussed just now. So this is the picture of analytical engine. Here Babbage machine along with punch card employed for storing data, for storing information and holding computed numbers for future reference. Because of the connection of checkered loom, Babbage called the two part of this machine as store and mill. As it is indicating by its name, store we use for storing the data, where mill was taken as the woven or the processing part of the machine. And now in modern computer, this unit is known as memory unit and central processing unit respectively, store and mill. With analytical engine, which was based on the concept of programming, it was Lady Byron, Ada Byron, that started designing program for analytical engine, although program couldn't be completed because machine was also incomplete. Though analytical engine remained unbuilt, but Ada earned her popularity, her place in history as the first computer programmer. She invented subroutines, functions to recognize the importance of looping. Afterward, it was Hermann Hollerith who developed the punch card tabulating machine to process the data. In punch card machine, it consists of a card reader which senses the presence of hole in the card and a gear driven mechanism which could count like Pascal machine. Here the large wall of dial indicators to display the result of the counted numbers. This is Hermann Hollerith's innovation. By using punch card, we can store and retrieve the data which has already been stored. So it was the first type of read and write technology. Before that, we don't have any mechanism so that we can store the data which we have just used or processed. And Babbage has given a new dimension to the modern computer. So the first computer which could implement the idea of Charles Babbage was Mark I, developed by Howard Aiken. Mark I did transform Babbage's dream into reality, and he succeeded putting the name of IBM in front of the computer industry. From this time, from Mark I, the modern computer would forever be associated with digital intelligence. And then ENIAC, after 2 years later, it was ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, came into existence, which was invented by Professor Eckert and John McCulley. That uses around 1800 to 1900 vacuum tubes and transistors, and the size of this machine was that could be fitted in a single room, which could generate lots of heat, lots of power. So now it is the time to divide development of different computers into various generations. We will be starting with first generation of computer with the development of ENIAC and Mark I, where the electronic component was vacuum tube for circuitry and magnetic drum. The size, obviously it was quite large, and the language these machines were using as machine level language, which is very difficult to understand, very difficult to maintain, very difficult to modify. Moreover, the language of every machine is different, so it was not a good idea to use that machine, and people faced difficulty, and hence the development of second generation computers started, where vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors, because the use of vacuum tube generates lots of heat, number of vacuum tubes was more. So number of vacuum tubes were replaced by a single transistor. The size of computer obviously reduced. Not only this, the speed of computer became obviously good, and the development of high level language like COBOL and Fortran came into existence, started rather, and assembly language was also used by these computers, where some symbols were used in place of 0 and 1. And then as always there is development in the machine. So in third generation, the integrated chip was considered to be the hallmark development of this era. These transistors were miniatured in the place and placed on a small silicon chip, which is known as semiconductor chip. And in place of using punch card or printout, user started direct with computer, either by using keyboard and monitor with operating systems. Because new devices were used, the speed of computer became also good. And in fourth generation computers, these IC integrated circuits became more reduced form, and developer started using large scale integrated circuit or very large integrated circuit over microprocessors. So Intel 4004 chip developed in this era, and central processing unit and memory all are assembled in a small chip. So fourth generation computer saw the development of graphical user interface with mouse and more handling devices. And at last, the generation in which we people are living, which is known as fifth generation language, this generation started the use of artificial intelligence. It has started making computers artificially intelligent as human beings are. Though these computers are still in developing stage, though there are some applications which people are still using, like voice recognition, the recognition of person by its voice. Here for different applications we use parallel processing, a number of processors are working together for the purpose of computation, and superconductor is also helping, which is turning the dream of artificial intelligence into reality. The goal of this generation is to develop the devices that could respond to even natural languages, the language which we people are using, the learning of machines with self-recognition and self-organization. So this is a little introduction about the various generation of computers which we people are using. The era, the years which I haven't discussed, because there is always a conflict when the first generation, the previous generation stops and next generation starts. But we have divided into a number of years when there is starting or development of new technology. We have taken that this is the development of new generation. We have discussed in today's lecture the historical development of computers, how it has taken its present shape, and generation of computers in detail. Thank you very much.